What's going on, Salt Strong Nation? You guys asked for it, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Norman speed clips. Now, this is a form of snap swivel. I'm going to call it a speed clip in this video because that is the product's name, and a lot of you recommended this to me after I made a video on why you should not be using snap swivels for inshore fishing. And your big claims were that this is a lot faster than having to cut the line and retie a new knot for each lure you want to change to, and as well as being stronger than a regular knot, it is going to allow the same action that a loop knot would because most snap swivels are more restricted. This one does have an open face, as you guys can see here, so it is a little bit different than most snap swivels, but it does have the same function, allowing you to change those lures quickly with a metal framing. But I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some on-the-water footage today of this, as well as my personal feelings. Again, we're not sponsored by Norman Lures or any other tackle manufacturer. All the gear you guys are seeing here is stuff that we purchase with our own money here at Salt Strong, so we can give you guys independent and unbiased reviews just so you can be informed as an angler before you go out and spend your money. So let's go ahead and dive into these Norman speed clips. So to walk you guys through how this guy works, essentially it's a split ring that you're able to pinch open, and just how that works, again, this is the Magnum size speed clip. I would recommend using the normal size for inshore fishing. I just picked this one up because it works better on video. In fact, in the on the water footage you're going to see later, I was using the normal size, but essentially all you do is connect your leader line to the top of this closed face right here, or your main line just connects you to your rod and reel, and then you're able to pinch open this face right up here, which is where you're going to insert your lure. Essentially it's a split ring, like I said, that you're able to open and close. And just to show you how it would work on a lure, like I said, you need to really pin it in between your fingers so it doesn't move around. It does slip a lot if you just try to pinch it like that, so I recommend you kind of put it in the crux of your finger just to get a good hold, and then squeeze it open, insert it into the eye of your lure, your jig head, or your hard bait, and then boom, you've got a lure that can freely move around, that's been secured relatively quickly with this clip, and now you're ready to use it. Now the same thing is going to occur when you use a jig head. I'll go ahead and grab another one just to show you guys how it would work. Essentially all you're going to do is just grab it, pinch it, and insert it onto the jig head, and boom, again you have a slightly free jig head. As you guys can see, it's not terribly free, and again, this is the same thing that I saw earlier on when I was using the regular size with smaller jig heads. The eye is just kind of large, and it does restrict the jig head a little bit, but it does allow for more movement that a snug knot clearly does. With these hard baits that do have a little bit larger of an eye, you do have a larger movement to it. I didn't feel like the top waters were terribly affected when I used these Norman speed clips, but the jigs definitely were, and I didn't feel like I was getting the freedom that I had with my loop knots. So let's go ahead and look at some on the water footage of how these guys work, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about my final thoughts for these speed clips. There we go.
Nice, brother.
There we go.
Nice. That's trout.
There we go.
Nice.
So to give you guys my final thoughts on these speed clips, I do believe that they are a very interesting alternative to regular snap swivels, and if I did have to choose to use a snap swivel, it would absolutely be this one. The open face is fantastic. I do like that it's a little bit more secured, and it does seem to be a little bit stronger than a regular snap swivel would. In fact, Tony did do a test on the strength of these, and they were very, very strong. The normal ones he tested were 25 pounds of strength before the actual swivel itself snapped. So I'm impressed by the strength of them. That claim that you guys had definitely would hold true, be much stronger than a actual leader line. But if you guys do have, you know, your regular inshore setups, the knot is going to fail before the clip does regardless. So that point, you know, really doesn't have too much weight to it when you're deciding whether to use these or not. In terms of speed, yeah, it probably is a little bit faster than having to tie a loop knot, but the difference is going to be maybe 4 to 5 seconds. I can tie a loop knot very fast. It's just because I've had a lot of practice doing it. If you feel like you can't tie a loop knot very fast and you'd rather use these just for convenience sake, I would recommend to you maybe just practicing using the loop knot a little bit more. I promise once you get in the habit of tying those non-slip loop knots, you can do it with your eyes closed and it takes no time whatsoever. Again, you know, having to clip and unclip things is going to be a little bit faster, but really the biggest part of why I'm not going to continue to use these is it does affect your lure's action for the sake of a couple of seconds. I think taking the time to tie on an actual loop knot that's going to give you the most freedom possible is really what's going to separate you catching a lot of fish and even better quality fish, as you guys saw in the video. None of the fish that I caught, and this was an area that I know has some very large fish in it, none of the fish that I caught were of substantial size. Really the biggest one was on the top water, and like I said, the top water's action really was not affected. The hard baits that do have those larger eyes don't seem to have their action affected as much, but the jigs definitely did. They weren't moving as naturally through the water, and while it still caught fish, I didn't believe that I was using the best possible presentation I could, and I don't like leaving things to chance in fishing. We don't have a lot of control of all the variables, and if we can control small things like the presentation of a lure, making sure it looks as natural as possible, I believe we should act on those things, and the sake of a few seconds to me is not worth wanting to put these on. But like I said, they still are of use and they still will catch fish. So that is my honest and independent review of these. I'm again not going to continue to use these, but really I do have a little bit more appreciation for them, and they definitely aren't going to scare off all the fish. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and if you would like to check out some more tackle that we've done reviews on, go to our channel, visit some of our other tips on the Salt Strong site, or you can go to our store and get up to 20% off of pretty much everything you're seeing here: rods, reels, lures, everything like that. And I highly recommend that if you do want to become a better inshore fisherman, the knowledge does not lie in the right lures, it lies in choosing the right spots. So if you guys really want to become a good angler, we have tons of information on how to do exactly that, and I recommend you join us in the Salt Strong Insider Club. So guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.
There's something about the water that'll give you peace, all by yourself or with your family. Live salt strong and wear the line today.